What's up, y'all? Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Can y'all, let me turn my volume up. Let me turn my heat down. Can y'all hear me pretty good? Hey, Queen Lewis. What's up, Cat? Denise Butler. You know what? I wanted to come on here, y'all, and address something real quick. Can y'all hear me pretty good? Yeah? No? See? Okay, good. Okay, so it was brought to my attention that VS and Chopper were trying to go in on Captivating about the topics that we discussed, which was HIV, the stigma in our communities, and it was brought to me about what I said, but all of us gentlemen had the same stance. We all said the stigma behind HIV should be erased. And that's not saying that someone should go out there and screw everybody that's walking. Of course not. VS is going to take anything that we say and try to weaponize it. Isn't VS the same person that was throwing digs at Chopper about his status? Now let's keep it real. And let's be black people. Let's not be ignorant, and let's keep it, be 100. How many times, all of you on here, listen, you've all had children. For those of you that have had babies, you love your kids, I know it. But some of you got pregnant and you weren't trying to get pregnant. You very well could have been that same person catching HIV from a boyfriend out there doing anything. Now, let's be honest. You weren't planning to have a baby, right? That doesn't mean that you love your kid less. But that same man that put a baby in you could have given you HIV because you trusted him. There are babies born with HIV. You're not practicing reckless behavior because you got HIV. All of you have slipped up and had sex unprotected. And if you say yes, you're sitting up here lying. Throughout your years, there's been a time when you've had unprotected sex because you trusted that person. You may have been in love with that person, but that person could have still brought HIV home to you. What if they used drugs on the side and you didn't know it? It's not about, you know what? Captivating could have said that hummingbirds are the smallest bird in the world. BS would have made a way to say, well, is it really a bird? There are different species of hummingbird. He didn't say what species of hummingbird it was. She's going to take anything because they're putting us under a magnifying glass. And no, we didn't have the same numbers we had before because people were expecting drama before. They came on because they wanted to see who was going to drag who, if there was going to be a bloodbath. That's why they came. That's why we had high ratings when Trey was on, because people were waiting for a train wreck. No other reason than that. When there's drama, people will flock to your channels. I think Captivating did an excellent job and the topics were on point. It was told to me that Chopper and VS were trying to go in on Captivating. But you guys understand, before the shows are on, Captivating already, we know what the topics were going to be about, and we all green-lighted what we could talk about. We agreed that those were, great topics. No one sat up here and tried to tell him what to talk about. People need to know that. You're not going to, it's not right to stigmatize people with HIV. No, I'm standing behind that. Absolutely not. It's not right. Any of you sitting on here could have been affected by HIV. How many times you've been with a boy, men and women, you've had boyfriend and girlfriends that you broke up with and you thought they were going to be the one and only forever and ever. But you realized he was an asshole and he wasn't about anything, and you left that brother. That same brother, the one you left that you thought was going to be your husband, or that woman you thought was going to be your wife, it didn't work out. You didn't plan it. It happened. That's how people can get affected sometimes, because they've given their all to someone they thought that they loved. No one's going around saying, hey, give me HIV. I want HIV. Bring it to me. Give me. No. Who does that? And I think that people are so caught up with how our views are, but we're still on and we're bringing some positivity. We're not the Mess Express. We're not any other platform. Let them do what they do. We're not sitting up here trying to critique their panel. That's not our thing. No, you shouldn't be. Again, no, you should not be stigmatized, because there is a stigma. I worked with an RN when I was working in the R. I used to be a surgical tech, and I worked in the OR. When I worked in the OR, I worked with an RN, and she told me, this guy at church. Now keep in mind, this was an RN with her bachelor's degree. She didn't want her baby being held by this guy, because she said, and this was like probably 12 years ago. She was saying there was a guy holding her baby that's at her church, and he had HIV, and she was scared that her baby, she felt uncomfortable with him holding her baby. Now this wasn't 1980. This was in the 2000s. So yes, there's stigma associated with HIV that no, you're not going to catch it because you held someone held your baby. Your baby's not going to catch it. You're not going to catch it because they drank out of a glass. Because I heard horror stories of people that had it, and their family ostracized them, and they didn't like that they were gay already, but they would wash their glasses in bleach, or make the people drink out of paper cups and stuff. Yeah, I've experienced all that. Hey, Vivian, Denise, Pretty Mortician, Miss All that. Thank you, Kimberly Black, my mods, for coming through. Denise, right. The thing is, no one, HIV is a hidden assassin. You're not going to be, these men, and when I say men, it's mostly men that are living DL lives and doing other things. Women do it as well, but the numbers are not saying it's mostly women. It's men that are doing a lot of things behind their wives' and girlfriends' backs. There are a lot of DL men out there. There are men living double lives. I have friends that work in clinics that are RNs that tell about the man coming in getting tested and he's positive, and then he come back with his girlfriend like he's never been there before. I'm sitting up, I've been approached by numerous guys that were DL. And when I'm saying the DL guys I'm talking about, were bisexual DL guys. These weren't just gay guys that were DL. I remember once in the mall, I'm walking through the mall, and this guy kept looking at me, and he had his daughter with him because the little girl looked just like him. And he was asking me who had braided my hair, because he thought my hair was so cool because how it was braided. This was years ago, of course. This was years ago, and I had cornrow braids, baby. I thought I was the fourth member of TLC. But so the guy told me, your braids are really cool. And I was like, oh, thank you. Hey, give me your number because I'm trying to grow my hair out and I want to get it done like that. I didn't even think. Okay, the guy was looking at me. It wasn't in my mind that he was really checking me out because I don't think everyone's looking at me like that. But he got my number and tried to holler at me. Had a whole wife at home. Little girl right there eating an ice cream cone. So that same man could have got with someone and slept with them that had HIV and brought it back home to his wife if he practiced unsafe sex. I don't know what practices he indulged in. But, you know, I have people that I've known, friends that were DL. They weren't bisexual DL, but they were DL gay men. And I've known people in my family that were DL. Or, let me correct that are DL. So, I'm not going to sit up here and act like, we can't act like it doesn't exist because there are a lot of DL men. There are a lot of people doing things on the side. And I think women would be pretty shocked to know the amount of men that have a tendency to cross that fence. Don't you run into me, crazy. So, I just wanted people to understand that the gentleman's panel was not sitting back saying that everybody should go out there and sleep with everybody. You know, we're not going to the foot wash. We're not going, it's not the 1970s and we're going to a freedom festival and everyone's screwing everyone. No. But HIV doesn't have a name on it. I told you 3 people in my family died from that. My grandmother's brother. I had a brother that I met as an adult. My father, of course, my father went to school for theology, but at one time my father was screwing anything that sat down to pee. But I met a brother that I never knew as a child. I'd heard only stories about him. I meet my brother and my brother's gay. So, you know, that was an extra added, you know, icing on the cake. But my brother, we grew close in a short period of time, and I lost him to complications of AIDS, that HIV developed into AIDS and other things. He got really sick. I had a young cousin that died. His mother was very, very religious, but one of the biggest hoes around. And these were people that could have lived if they had gotten on medication. Well, my uncle was before the medication. He passed away in the 80s. But my brother and my cousin both had very strong religious families. My brother's mother, them were very much into church and very much about praying. And my brother was embarrassed to tell people he had HIV. He wasn't going to tell people that. He didn't want to be looked at, and he just didn't want to carry that shame he thought he would have. Anytime my brother would get like a flat tire or anything, his grandparents would be like, you know, God did that to you because you're gay. A flat tire? No, he fucking didn't check the air pressure on his tire. He saw the warning in his car and just ignored it. No. So of course he wasn't going to tell people he had HIV. I thought I would have been, I was hurt I was really, really hurt because he didn't even come to me. And we had developed a really close relationship. My brother was a little younger than I am. But the thing was, he was embarrassed because he thought he would be treated differently by people. That's why we said the stigma. That was my experience. There are people I know that told me they've had HIV since the damn early 90s. There's people walking around, gay men walking around here looking like California raisins at 80 years old with HIV. Well, one of them was trying to holler at me. He's 70 years old trying to get at me. Baby, I still got it. You know, I'm a cougar. No, nigga, you are a possum. You're not a cougar. But needless to say, he told me about his status. I remember seeing people back in the days with HIV. The white men that I would see, because I worked in healthcare. So I would see people with humps in their backs. I would see people with humps in their backs. And that was an indication of them being on medication. A lot of white men had that. It was strange because it was mostly white men. I didn't see many black men like that. But they improved the medication, and you can look at people now and not be able to tell. Someone losing weight is not an indication of them being HIV nowadays, because people get on those meds and they gain a lot of weight. Hell, they'll be walking around here with little fat, little chubby faces and big bellies. But you're not, you should be safe. Protect yourself. Treat everyone like they have HIV. Treat everyone, any sexual partners you have, you should treat them like they have HIV, because you don't know. You're not with them 100% of the time. A man can walk right around the corner saying he picking up him some cigars from the store and sleep with someone in 5 minutes. We're not. Don't weaponize that. That was our point that we were making. Don't weaponize it, because people do. That's the first thing they go to. That's the first thing people on YouTube go to when they want to try to shade someone and saying, "Oh, does you think he has something?" I ain't gonna say anything, but he looked like he may be a little something wrong with him. You know what people are saying. They'll give digs. They make remarks. Anyone that's small, they'll say, look like he got, something, because his face looks a certain kind of way. Does his face look like it's skinny? Oh, he may have something. He's not big at all. I ain't gonna say anything. You know the little digs that they give. So they are trying to stigmatize HIV. Who has it? Thank you, Ted. And I share pictures of my family, guys, because I'm not embarrassed of my family. You dox me, what are you gonna find? You're not gonna find a criminal background, because working in healthcare, I was a surgical tech years ago. What are you gonna find? I can't be working in a healthcare environment and have a background. Okay. So, what are you gonna pull up about my family? I've had people in my family been to prison. Hell, my grandfather had been to prison back in the days for beating somebody else. So, that's just a little, idea of what I have the potential to do. But that's not me. I have people in my family that were alcoholics, that had, substance abuse problems, and still do. I chose not to. I've been around people snorting. or popping pills. That's never been something I wanted to do. I don't want a substance controlling my actions. So y'all can pop mollies and whatever, handlebars or urchins or trolls or beavers or whatever the hell they doing now. It's not my thing. I dated it. Well, I didn't date the guy. Me and the guy was just, hanging out, I'll say. But the guy would tell me, man, we used to have such a good time. And this was years ago when I saw him, and he, had a decent body. But when I saw him recently, he looked like the person he is now, ain't the person that he used to be. But he was trying to get back at me, and he was like, we used to have some fun, man. When we would hook up, it was so, hot. What were you taking, man? Because you would be just fired up. And I was like, nothing. Like, you wasn't doing anything? You wasn't on handlebars? No, I wasn't on handlebars. No, I don't sniff poppers. I hate the smell of anything like that. So no, it wasn't anything I was on. I have a natural high. Let's just say that. But, and a lot of people, we were talking about HIV, and people shouldn't be dying from it, and they shouldn't be dying from it now with the medications they have. And also, when El Teddy and I was talking about that, people are doing drugs now and being on medications. That's what the effect. That's the negative effect of is you're on drugs and doing Medicaid. You're on prescribed drugs and you're doing street drugs. They don't go together. Your immune system is being compromised by the drugs you're popping and or ingesting or shooting up with, whatever. Your immune system is weakened. So of course I'm working today. This is my Saturday to work, and I work in the garage when I work on Saturdays. Lord, please let me get a good parking space. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, nah, somebody gonna grab it. Thank you. This guy was trying to give me a parking space. I've seen him before. Not too bad on the eyes. Okay. Damn it, I'm gonna have to park on this roof. Okay, y'all. So, it's not cool. Y'all, oh my God. So it looks like I'm going to have to park on the rooftop today. But, the stigma with HIV is not cool. We're not in the 80s. I saw people wasting away. I saw people wasting away. No, I didn't come out in the 80s, because I tell y'all I'm only 27 to 35 years old. But I think that you don't make people feel embarrassed or that they were less than or they were just out there having sex with everyone, because again, a lot of you didn't plan to have your kids. And you sitting up here, yes, you love your baby, I understand, yes. Okay, that's great. Damn it. Okay, I gotta go back down. Baby, these people are relentless. So, sorry. But the thing is, I saw people wasting away before my very eyes. These people, I remember guys that were dancers or guys that had, excellent, they were in excellent shape. You would see them, and then you wouldn't see them for like 6 months. I wouldn't see them for like 6 months. Once I would see them again, they would look so different. Okay, am I gonna be? I may just have to park on this roof. Okay, here's a parking space. I got a parking space right by the elevator, but it's for a damn compact car. Up here. So, what I'm saying is practice safe sex. Treat everyone like they have HIV. But having HIV is not a death sentence for anyone. It's not. Okay. My phone is going to be tripping. Protect yourself. Yes. Protect yourself. And what I was saying, okay, because I was trying to drive and park. A lot of you, I go back to that. A lot of you have children. You may have one or two children. You may have different baby daddies. That happens. Who's to say you would have gotten pregnant? Who's to say if you didn't get pregnant, you couldn't have caught HIV? Because you weren't trying to get pregnant, right? You were unprepared. That's how that works. Hey, Camille. Look at what that Lex on in there. But, I just want people to be aware that no way. Yeah, I got all these. Look at all these damn scrubs I have to bring in my duffel bag every week. But just prepare. Protect yourself. Protect yourself, but know that you walk by people every day that have HIV and you don't know it. You may work with people, you don't know it. You got to be careful of conversations you have. And I remember this nurse before talking about her cousin that passed away. And she was like, he was probably out there, I miss my cousin, but he was probably out there sleeping with all these different men, and the thing was, she was saying this to me and two other people. One of the people that she was saying in front of was a woman that had HIV. And I only knew that because my friend worked for the city of Houston. But I saw this woman, she didn't see me, and I never told her business because I respect people. But this other nurse was talking about her HIV, her cousin. But you're talking about it in front of someone that has it. So you made this person feel like, they had done something wrong. I don't know what the woman's story was, how she had HIV. I don't know her backstory. But you still can't judge people and say they're having a nasty lifestyle. Were you nasty when you let that man sleep with you with no condom? Because you've had people that weren't your husband or your wife and you slept with them with no protection. Does that make you, a thought? Are you a hoe because you did that? Just anything we say captivating, brought some interesting topics to the table, and I thought they would. I personally felt that they were helpful and it educated people. Hey, Red Scorpion, I'm gonna see you tonight, Red Scorpion. What time is the gathering? It's 7 o'clock, right? Red Scorpion, tonight, 7 o'clock. Okay. So I you know, the pretty mortician exactly. There are plenty of people that contract HIV and they're not out there sleeping with everyone. They're not out there sleeping with everyone. These people are a lot of times people in open relationships and they're not willing participants in being in an open relationship. We know like Red Scorpion and I have been friends for about 10 years. We've known each other about 10 years, right, Red? Now, Red Scorpion and I have known people that have passed away through the years. And those people, they weren't coming telling us about statuses or anything because people are embarrassed or they don't want to be ostracized. So I respect anyone's right to privacy because it's not their is I you shouldn't have to tell people that. Do people run around telling everyone that they're diabetic? So, just be I'm on Jordan right. Yes, it's a dream. It's a dream catcher. You see it? I wanted a little small one. But and no, I'm not a white witch. I'm not a black witch. I'm not a Wiccan. I'm not a wizard. I'm not a warlock. I thought it was pretty to look at, and I know the Native Americans used them to catch, nightmares, to protect against nightmares. I know the whole history of them, but I got it because it's pretty. Just like I wear this New York hat. I don't watch sports, but I think it's pretty. But it's just crazy. It's really crazy. And I'm sitting here. I'm gonna talk for like 3 more minutes, and I'm gonna walk inside. Um, but I just think that people should educate themselves. People should educate themselves and not be ignorant. Because I was ignorant for some things. I was. Um, thank you. But pretty mortician, you trying to make me blush. My cheek is gonna turn a rosy purple. But I think that people just should of be aware that you don't know who you're talking to. Hmm. But just protect yourself. Protect yourself, educate yourselves, educate young people. I think young people are becoming more aware of, everyone being affected by HIV some kind of way. People know someone that knows someone that was affected. And I told a story on the gentleman's panel about the woman that was like 140, 50 pounds that worked in the operating room at the hospital I used to work at. And I watched this woman go down to about 72 pounds. So she was praying and going to church, but she wasn't on medication. And her husband had a history of drug abuse, and they said he was bisexual. I don't know for sure about that, but I remember him treating her like crap because we would meet out for dinner sometimes, me and the other coworkers and her, and he just wasn't nice to her. So I felt bad about that, and then when I saw her, she would be emaciated, uh, just moving around slow. She was embarrassed for me to see her at times because I didn't work in her department anymore. So when I would go and visit, it would be like weeks, 2 or 3 weeks would pass by, and I'd go to the floor she worked on. Uh, excuse me. And she would be embarrassed. She didn't want me to see her because her body was changing. Um, but she could have still been here today if she would have got on medications. This wasn't in the 80s or 90s. This was in 2000s, the 2000s. Yes, the pretty mortician, exactly. Just, treat, live, live, because there are people that are diabetic that live, much like someone with HIV could live. Remember back in the days when you would hear that story about the uncle that had sugar, that uncle that was missing toes or had half his leg cut off. Uh, Hell, I didn't even want to eat sweets because I was hearing about, oh, Uncle James got the sugar. I was like, hell no, I don't want no, don't give me no candy for Halloween. I don't want the sugar because I was afraid that sugar was sweet. It has some type of a relationship with eating, sugary foods and, in your diet a lot, but it's still, I would think people living with diabetes is harder almost than living with HIV. That's just my idea. That's my opinion. Um, Nowadays, now back in the days, absolutely not. But I have a friend that has diabetes, and he has to give himself insulin, and I'd be like, oh my god, I hate needles. And he's giving himself his injections, and he had to cut out all the sugar in some of his foods and fat-free ice cream and this and that. I'm like, meanwhile, I know the person that's living with HIV that's eating Whataburger every damn day and eating whole cakes and pies, no shots. No, it can't be reversed. That's true, Jazzy Braille. But I'm saying, just from what I've observed with people with diabetes and people with HIV, I think the people I know with diabetes have more restrictions on what they can do. Not because diabetes can be reversed. Yes, that's true what you're saying. But As far as the restrictions, you have to be very, very stay on top of everything. Yes. So I think that you just have to. There are things that affect people, and another thing, all gay men that are dealing with health issues, it's not always HIV. You know, you're not always dealing with HIV. Gay people can have anything that straight people can get affected by, gay men get affected by. But people love to say if a gay man is sick or anything, it's HIV. It's HIV. Maybe the person had lupus. Maybe the person had, was diabetic. A number of things. Oh, okay, Jazzy Braille. But I'll look into that as well. Yes. And I knew people. Diabetes doesn't run in my family. Um, that uncle I had was on my father's side, the great uncle. But I remember him having his toes cut off, and he had to wear like a special type of shoe, and it was bandaged up. And I was a little kid seeing that. But I don't think that I don't think that people, high blood pressure runs in my family. That's what runs in my family. Their cancer doesn't, or anything else is high blood pressure. But just educate yourselves. And I had to address it because it was brought to my attention about, they said that BS and Chopper were attacking Captivating Christian, and some kind of way, Rebel saying the stigma needs to be erased about HIV was wrong. Why shouldn't the stigma be erased? Yes, the stigma should be erased, but that doesn't say go out there again and sleep with everyone. But no, people shouldn't be ostracized because of them having HIV. I stand behind that. And I remember Jay Wilson was being roasted because he talked about PrEP and everything. PrEP is something people take to, guard against catching HIV in a lot of cases. Now, women, PrEP is for women as well. It's not just for men. But you do know that you've heard boyfriends tell you they don't like how condoms feel. Condoms make you break out. All those excuses. The condom too small. The condoms are restricting. They make them break out. They don't like how they feel. They're allergic to the latex. All of that. But even on PrEP, you still can catch other STDs because PrEP is not a, Something that's going to protect you against gonorrhea or syphilis, chlamydia. So just any type of sexual practice, any sex is risky sex because a condom can break as well. You could have a condom and it pops. Chopper, to me, he's angry at the world because the thing is, he sits up and he's not. Um, he should be a person that's talking about, prevention and, getting your, eating healthy and doing the positive thing. But I never liked Chopper like that. And even when Tracy was talking about Chopper's status, I thought that was really grimy. I thought it was grimy and I wasn't for it. It was wrong. But yeah, I just think that people just, it's ridiculous. Thank you, Kimberly, for coming through. I'm getting ready to go in myself because I have one of those types of jobs. I don't get monitored for my time. I can walk in when I want to and walk out when I want to. Just for those that be in the background, saying rebel this and rebel that. Yes, I have tattoos, but I wear long sleeve shirts at work because I'm in a professional environment. Thank you all for coming out. Much love. Thank you, mods, for coming through, representing and holding it down. My subscribers, appreciate your support. Much love. Have a good day. All right, y'all.